Reconnection successful. So we might be back. Maybe, just maybe. Oh joy, what fun. More technical difficulties. Next thing you know, my computer is gonna freeze and shut down midstream as well, and then we can, you know, just bundle up all the issues into one fun package. Mic not working at the start of the stream, internet crashing, computer crashing is really just the only way to finish off the fun. But hey, we'll see how it goes. We'll keep it up for a little bit here. I'll try to keep an eye on my bitrate here, and hopefully we get a bit of progress. I mean, nothing was really missed, I would assume. Mostly just wondering about the level. And would you look at that? Economical Temple will in fact be the first set of altars that we see throughout our run so far here. And Sif, maybe? Hey, there you are. Let's do it. I'm a creature of habit. This is usually how I go about it for my Ogre Transmuters, so let's just roll with the punches and see how that goes, shall we? Now I'm hyper aware and super paranoid about stuff going down, so I'm gonna keep glancing over. Are we okay? Are we okay? Hopefully that fear will fade as we continue on just a bit here. Thanks, Roga, for helping with the status updates. I appreciate it. Who knows how long it would have been before I actively realized that we were having such annoying issues. Ooh, and a water moccasin on D5. What fun. I mean, at least you only have 27 health, so if I just scorch 4 times in a row, chances are you're dead, especially since the subsequent scorches will be dealing more damage with the stripping of fire resistance. But let's maybe put ourselves into as good of a spot as possible. Just go upstairs and rest off. And that is fantastic. Okie dokie. Oh, hello, Blork. Skip around the corner so that Blork has to come to us, and that'll at least ensure that we aren't taking any annoying spells from afar here. And not too shabby whatsoever. Perfect. Our friendly ogre will be wandering about, I'm sure. Hello there. I guess you're also 27, you hit pretty hard. Do I dare? Just start scorching and see what happens? Almost regretted that one immediately, but fortunately, we never didn't have it. Ooh, and fun, we even see some crystal plate armor. Oh boy, how lucky are we? I mean, even if we were able to wear it, probably wouldn't have any interest whatsoever, which, you know, is fitting. That's generally when you see these things. Are you fully immune to fire? No, and in fact, not even resistant. Mixing you up with the Iron Imp, Steel Imp, Metal Imp, something along those lines. I forget the exact permutation, but some kind of metallic imp of sorts, I'm sure. Just so I can feel bad about myself, let's check out what this armor is. +6 armor with +2. I mean, chainmail, pretty heavy for any caster character. So again, even if we were capable of putting on such tiny clothing, probably wouldn't really be too interested. And that should be most of the floor here. At least we've taken care of what I would hope to be the most egregious threats. Maybe not. In fact, I think that might have been the ogre that we saw in our first reveal to the floor here, but regardless, taken care of now and looking pretty fantastic. Conjurations hits 4. Ooh, and as we start to gain a bit of a crowd, especially since these buddies will be swifted. Got some swifties hanging out here. Let us make sure we're standing on the stairwell just to ensure the highest level of safety we can. Probably should not have bothered to try and fight the warrior, but here we are, and hey, it all worked out, so how could it have possibly been wrong? That's how probability and chance works, right? Okay, and another orc priest. If this one isn't taken out by the first barrage here, you know, fortunately, we don't really need to explore the rest of that sentence because they were, in fact, taken out by the first little go at things. And ooh, I don't have enough magic. That's fun. In that case, let's head right back here and try it from this angle, shall we? Not enough magic to sustain, so it does cost 1 magic to sustain the flame wave. I've always had my suspicions, but never seemed to really bear fruit. I guess I shouldn't really be walking away. Might as well swing my weapon. At least opportunity attacks just have a % chance of coming through rather than guaranteed hits raining down on us. Throughout the entirety of our escape there. Not too shabby. We did see that troll. So I'm curious whether the troll is going to end up being behind some kind of a ruined portal or wall, or if we'll have early access to some potential skin to wear, which would definitely be very, very nice. Ooh, and it actually very much seems like the latter, because I think this is where we did see that son of a gun. Yeah, in fact, one of the later rooms in this very structure does seem to be where we'll find that son of a gun. Slightly terrifying stuff. In fact, this whole area is starting to look a little bit nasty, to say the least. So let's see, if we open that next door, we're gonna immediately come face to face with an ogre, a troll, a scorpion, and a hound. And so they all walk into a bar, and the thing that happens next, you wouldn't believe. I mean, Book of Spheres is okay. I guess the main potential argument for coming in here is for very early troll leather. Get that regeneration, kind of synergizes nicely with our large ogre health pool. I just wish I didn't have to quite come at it from such a dangerous angle. Hello there. This is where I wish that I had bothered to learn volatile blast modes, because probably would come in handy. Let's see, 38 health on you, friend. I think as long as we chain Scorches, we unfortunately do not receive any of their skin. Very, very rude of them, as always, but hey, we won't judge too much, to each their own. Maybe they're saving their skin for some lucky troll out there, you know? So we'll grab our spell book, and that should pretty much be the floor set to go. And that is fantastic. A bit of flame wave is probably the best way to deal with our new friends here as well. And rinse and repeat. Okie dokie, not too shabby. Just gonna be doing our very best to stay alive long enough. You know, what I just did there, not conducive to what I was actively saying out loud. Best way to stay alive, probably not to engage with a hasted centaur. I mean, hey, it all worked out, so who's laughing now? But I think that was largely due to the luck of our foxfires kind of blocking our sight line to our ranged friend there throughout a lot of the encounter. Otherwise, that would have probably been a bit more of a nightmare to deal with. Evo and Invo, thanks Obloot, but I'll probably just be leaving those by the wayside. Ooh, and now there is some skin for our troubles. Not the skin we were looking for, but maybe the skin we deserved. Encumbrance rating of 5 does mean there's a little bit of a price to pay, but everything's still seemingly pretty castable here. If if we take a look in our book, we were just complaining about not knowing blast motes, so let's maybe bring that on board. I'm tempted, though, to shift it, just because it doesn't have any kind of confirmation to cast, and so if I hit the macro for that, I will be laying an active mine at my feet, which may not always be the most ideal move when I'm not, you know, intending it or expecting to see that. Ooh, and an Amulet of Faith with resist cold and resist negative energy. I guess this would potentially guarantee that we get Dragon Form a little bit earlier than originally planned. The Reflection probably isn't going to do a whole lot. The +5 shielding is nice when we're so severely lacking in defenses across the board. But let's try it out. Sif won't be too happy when we take that off, but if we do so, again, just after we've gotten everything that we kind of want most in this world, then that shouldn't be too bad. Vesa, I'm actually just going to take you on a little bit of a walk here. I would like to be standing on a stairwell so that when, oh, Dowan and Maggie both come into view, what fun. We can at least take care of one before we probably retreat, especially since Maggie will try to ensnare us in their mesmerizing gaze, of course. 3D 15 on that bolt of fire is not very nice. 60 HP. Jeez Louise, yeah, you're just about as strong as I am, Maggie. Which is generally not how you want to fight in this game. Things should always be, ideally, quite a bit weaker than yourself. Okay. Well, I guess we're committing now. Volatile Blast Motes still at least doing their job early on, so that is fantastic. And not too shabby. Ooh, and we get Swamp Dragon Scales. Huh. Let's see if those are too heavy to wear, because early poison resistance would be huge. So if I throw that bad boy on, everything's still castable. We're up to 8 armor class. Okay, getting a little stupidly lucky here. You know, not so much with the random magical items we're finding around, none of which we're able to technically wear, but definitely in terms of the overall equipment load that we've come across, all, I'm sure, precipitating a horrendous, embarrassing death, but until that moment, we can kind of rest on our laurels here. Orc Warrior. Oh, I see what the issue is. Your sleeping friend is blocking your way from coming towards us. In that case, let's just head around for now. No need to get too crazy with it. Bees could not have come at a more perfect moment right after we got our poison resistance all sorted out, so that is fantastic. And not too shabby. Let's head away a little bit just in case that Orc Warrior decides to come out the other direction. And that is fantastic. Not another Orc Warrior. Hey, my friend. Well, we'll definitely just try to introduce you to our friendly blast modes. That's perfect. And then, oh geez, you have a crossbow. That is very, very much not good. Oh geez. I guess I could haste now. And that might be the only way to guarantee. I guess how far were we? We were here. Saw a tiny little fruit fly on my wall and decided to take it as an opportunity. One moment. Probably should have cleaned off my hands. Ah, jeez Louise. But we were here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what I was afraid of. So they'll probably have another shot at us. Well, it the haste doesn't do it, then we were gonna die anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh joy. 32 damage as your max. Well, I think we just have to go for it. There's a 50% chance to stun you or to paralyze you, but unfortunately, that's not super guaranteed, so here goes nothing. Oh, jeez. Okie dokie, we do manage to survive, but let's get out of here. Turns out the haste, complete waste of resources. Unfortunate, but hey, these things happen, and would much rather use it and survive, regardless of how important it was in that survival, than die with it still in our inventory. So not the end of the world at the end of the day here. And an evasion ring. Any defenses, again, hugely appreciated. I will definitely take it. Now I am concerned about where our crossbow wielding friend has gone off to. I'm sure they'll make an appearance at the worst possible moment. Oh, in fact, there you are. Oh, and we have an invisible friend between us. Well, we'll take care of you, and then... Dang it, I was definitely hoping the Scorch would hit the backer line. Oh, turns out that wizard was still around. Whoops. But at least that takes care of our problem there. And we can hopefully freely take care of the rest of the floor here without too much of a concern. Oh my gosh, a little mini economical temple here on D8. That's very cool. And hello, Harold. Oh, what a fun start this has been so far. Jeez Louise. Well, 27 damage with your weapon definitely sucks. Sucks a whole lot. I guess while it's still early on, we can take a look. Only 17% chance to paralyze is not good. So I think it's going to be acid with 83% misses. Or rather, 83% to hit, and we do not quite get there. And maybe from the beginning we should have just been scorching, but hey, we do manage to survive, and I would like to be fairly cautious of a couple of kobold demonologists here. Just make sure we have escape from any particularly nasty summons, since they can definitely start racking up very early. And not too shabby. In fact, a couple of magical daggers lying around here. +2 of flaming, maybe a dagger of protection can be our other backup. I guess we do have this artifact mace on hand, so that also works fairly well. Okie dokie. No thank you, Elroka. With a 38% chance to banish. That's going to be a fairly definitive no from me. And while we're starting to be a little more cognizant of our surroundings, let's also take this as a nice opportunity to get some identifying in before we find ourselves blindly chugging potions in a sheer panic. And so we'll hopefully get heal wounds, which we do indeed see, so that's fantastic. And then we can just start burning through the rest of our scrolls here. 5 fear is beautiful. 2 acquirement. Also beautiful. Let's take a look. Gozag's Delight. Resistance to negativity, regen, corrosion resistance, see invisible. That's probably pretty nice. You know, once we get access to dragon form and we switch off of our faith amulet, that's a pretty solid replacement. What would we be missing out on in the Book of Fire? Right, Plasma Beam we did experiment with a little bit last time, and it's definitely a wild spell, super strong. Why do you have to test me with tough decisions, game? I am not good at decision making. Yikes. Well, let us We could sit on it for a while. I mean, I don't need the amulet anytime soon. Book of Fire would be nice to have, but not necessary. Let's maybe take a look in our spell book to see whether that's something we'd want to kind of drop everything at our disposal and swap over to. I mean, at the end of the day, I wasn't even planning on training fire magic much higher than it is now. So maybe I do just go for the amulet. There's a chance I regret this immensely, but if it works. Let's go for it. I'm going to take the amulet, and then we'll see what our second go-around gets us here. Demon Trident of the Vendetta. An electric branded Demon Trident with evocable blink, resist electricity. Int -4 is pretty nasty. Otherwise, it's a pretty incredible trident, don't get me wrong. On the ring side of things, resist corrosion with a bit of bonus intelligence and slain. This slow debuff can get pretty rough. If it hits at the wrong moment, that will definitely screw us over. But slaying helps a whole lot with the Manifold Assault approach, I believe. I think that matters. Because I think it just applies your physical attacks to all enemies in sight. Man, I'm going to be struggling with decisions this whole stream. I can feel it already. I've got the rumblings here. But this one, I think we can pretty safely just hold on to for the moment. We'll come back to you later when we've potentially made up our mind at least a little bit more than it's currently been made. Oh gosh, and another Arbalist friend. Fantastic. Exactly what you want to see here. Well, we're going to step next to you again just to make sure you're not firing any shots. It's pretty wild how much scarier the Arbalist is compared to any other weapon they could possibly be wielding.